Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of A Reader and a Cinephile. Last year, I changed my approach to reading. Everywhere I go now, a book goes with me. Instead of reaching for my phone, I reach for a book. This new approach has given me the greatest reading year of my life. After a lot of debate, mostly with myself, and a lot of thought about the 34 books I read last year, here are my 10 favorite reads of the year. Number 10, The Innocent Man by John Grisham. The Innocent Man takes place in my home state of Oklahoma. I long ago retired any notion of the effectiveness of the death penalty, but this book has cemented that belief for me. It is powerful, rage inducing, and shows the flaws of our criminal justice system fully. Number 9, The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. Beginning again in Oklahoma, The Grapes of Wrath tells the story of the Joad family as they flee Dust Bowl ravaged Oklahoma for the promise of better days in California. Without hesitation, I think this is the best fiction book ever written about poverty. It forced me to see my ancestors in my home state in a new light. Number 8, James by Percival Ebert. James shook me. As a kid, I loved The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Reading that book, my mind would run wild with possibilities. But I never stopped to think about the personhood denied to Jim, the slave, in the book. James changes the formula by giving Jim, who is called James, personhood, autonomy, and aspirations. As James works to reunite his family, I thought deeply about all those other characters in my literary life that have gone unnoticed. Number 7, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. In a nation where diversity, equity, and inclusion have become dirty words, I am more committed than ever to doing the work and understanding the harm caused by my whiteness. White fragility was an important step in my journey. Now, when in moments of discomfort or unease around the topics of race, I know to pause and question my feelings and ask why I have been conditioned to think a certain way. For me, it's powerful. Number 6, How Democracies Die by Stephen Levitsky and Daniel Ziblatt. I'm not sure if American democracy will survive Trump's return to the White House. Every day, I see evidence that we are drifting further away from the ideals of our founders and inching closer to something that feels like fascism. Wanting to understand these feelings and observations more deeply, I turn to How Democracies Die. In so doing, I discovered I'm not crazy. America is in a dangerous place right now, and I'm not sure democracy will meet the dawn of a new day. Number 5, Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Demon Copperhead may be set in Appalachia, but as a kid from Oklahoma, it rings so profoundly true. In the rich characters of this study, I was introduced to kids and families from my youth, people defined by poverty, addiction, and lack of access to resources that might deliver them a better tomorrow. Number 4, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. I have talked at length on this channel and my website about the flaws inherent in our criminal justice system. But the new Jim Crow adds another layer of complexity to those ideas by exposing a racist system specifically designed to harvest profit and hold minorities in powerless positions. Of everything that I read last year, no book felt like a bigger wake up call. Number 3, The Second Mountain by David Brooks. Exiting the pandemic, I found myself hungry for community. I was tired of an isolated life. I was exhausted by a selfish life. I wanted to be in community with others who share my hobbies and commitments. Feeling impatient, I decided to create several of those communities for myself. I picked up The Second Mountain, sort of unsure of where this journey would take me. What I discovered was a beautiful exploration of why community is important and why third spaces matter more than ever before. Number 2, Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I feel like the best version of myself when I'm found in the full bounty of nature. This can be on a hike, exploring gardens with my camera in tow, or a simple walk along Puget Sound. In nature, ancient wisdom is waiting to be discovered. I picked up braiding sweetgrass with hopes of connecting those moments where I feel my absolute best to those moments of lost wisdom, and it just did not disappoint. Number one, The Tinder Bar by J.R. Mooringer. I grew up without my biological father in the picture. While I was fortunate to have an amazing stepfather in my life, I also relied on an amazing network of men who served as mentors, pouring their wisdom into my life with nothing more than the hope that I might become a better version of myself. Reading The Tinder Bar, I thought deeply about those mentors and all that they have meant in my life. I am the man I am today because of them. I hope I have achieved their wildest dreams. Last year, I watched 295 movies. Of those films, 79 were released in 2025. After making and remaking this list, this is where I have landed. These are 10 films I cannot forget. Now, I should mention before we begin, this list will change. It will change tomorrow. It will change next week. It will change as I hunt down more movies before the Academy Awards. Number 10, Warfare. Warfare isn't interested in the morality of war. It assumes the audience has formed their own opinions about the use of our soldiers in combat situations. Instead, this film asks you to stand in the boots of our soldiers. As the chaos of war explodes around them, my mind raced toward the only logical conclusion that I can muster. Asking our sons and daughters to make such sacrifices must never be done for any reason other than protecting our highest ideals. Any other request falls short. Number 9, Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme is a table tennis movie centered on an unlikable character hell bent on achieving and introducing the world to his greatness. It is Timothy Chalamet at his absolute best as he swims through chaotic waters with nothing more than his obsession guiding him. It is a character study that I will not easily forget. Number 8, 2,000 Meters from Andrivka. 2,000 meters from Andrivka follows a Ukrainian platoon as they attempt to liberate a strategic village from Russian forces. With a journalist in tow, we get a full sense of what is facing the people of Ukraine as they fight for their lives and their very way of life. I saw this film in January of last year and I still think about it. War has never felt more real and present and harrowing. Number 7, Sinners. Sinners is special. Every scene feels powerful and necessary. It features cinematic moments that I will remember forever. As it builds and unfolds, it delivers a semi modern Southern Gothic that feels timely and important. Mark my words, this might end up winning Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards. Number 6, The Perfect Neighbor. Do yourself a favor right now. Open Netflix and watch The Perfect Neighbor. This documentary takes a minor neighborhood dispute and uses it to expose flaws in Florida's stand your ground laws. Using primarily police body cam footage and investigative interviews, this documentary was the first great film I saw in 2025 and remains something I think everyone should see. Number 5, Sally. I saw Sally at this year's Seattle International Film Festival. Before the film began, I didn't know much about Sally Ride. Beyond being the first American woman in space, I didn't know much about her life, her love, or her time as an astronaut. As this documentary unfolded before me, I found myself deeply moved. Everyone in this life should be allowed space to be the fullest version of themselves. This documentary proves it. Number 4, Twinless. For me, Twinless was the most surprising movie of the year. I also think it was the best comedy released in 2025. There's something so special about watching a great comedy with a completely sold out theater. This film focuses on two men who have lost their respective twin brothers. In a support group, they develop a fast growing friendship. What makes this film fascinating is sort of the long hidden secret bubbling underneath the surface of their friendship. And when things explode, it's an absolute joy to witness. Number three, Hamnet. Hamnet is one of the most heartbreaking films of 2025. It wrestles with love, loss, grief, artistic expression, and a fictionalized account of historical events. It is imaginative and creative. If you've ever lost someone, the grief felt by Agnes in this film feels real and relatable. If you have sought an outlet for the pain you are feeling, then you will see yourself in the journey of William Shakespeare. Of all the films I watched in 2025, there is no film I connected with so deeply. Number two, One Battle After Another. One Battle After Another may not have landed so soundly during the Obama, Bush, or Clinton administrations, but in Trump's reign, this film feels like a timely and much needed artistic response to all our collective trauma. It features performances I will never forget, cinematography I still think about, and writing that makes it one of the best movies of the year. Knowing my favorite movie of the year will not be nominated for Best Picture, this is the film that is my choice. Number one, Come See Me in the Good Light. My favorite film of 2025 was the documentary Come See Me in the Good Light. I saw this doc at last year's 2025 Seattle International Film Festival, focused on Colorado Poet Laureate Andrea Gibson and their part in Megan Valley. I found the film to be brave as it navigated cancer, love, identity, and expression. At times, it is incredibly sad, and at others, it made me laugh with its unflinching honesty. I didn't know Andrea's work before this film, and they have since passed away. But a new artist worthy of exploration has been introduced to me, and I can't wait to dig deeper. And those are my 10 favorite books and movies of the year. As always, I'd love to hear from you. What topped your list this year, and what has you excited for the year ahead? While you give that some thought, please follow along. It would absolutely mean the world to me. Until next time, be good to each other.